Rashford pulls up for three. Boom! Knocks it down.
Curry from the corner at three. Puts it in. For overtime, makes it go. Right.
Welcome to the MVP cast from me, Mark Woods, and it is season over for another year. The 2022-23 campaign is in the books today at the O2 Arena in London, and it has been, unsurprisingly, a double success for London Lions in the BBL and WBBL playoff finals. So let's try and bring you a little bit of quick reaction from around the court to what happened at both games. Let's start with the BBL playoff final, where it finished Lions 88, Leicester Riders 80. 15 points from Jordan Taylor, enough to win him the MVP. Lions adding the playoff title to the league and cup they won earlier in the season. It was quite the game. Lions dominated for long spells, up as much as 16. Riders came back at chances, really good chances near the end, but doomed by some, let's say, not perfect outside shooting, and the Lions able to prevail and lift the final trophy at a very packed, very noisy, very busy O2 Arena. So what can we tell you about it? Well, what do you want to know from the people involved? Let's hear first from Lions head coach Ryan Schmidt. Quite a season, you got a treble, satisfying end?
Yeah, obviously, again, it's a fun season, long season. I know expectations were high, and it's one of those things where you're kind of expected to win it, but again, just really proud of this group of guys. And I think overall, the long season we played, I think it was like 65, 66 games. To be able to just continue to show up and compete at a high level like we did, just really proud of our group, and to be able to cap it off with a third championship is pretty special.
You were down Sam, so there was obviously an inevitable adjustment for the playoffs, but you've had a lot of guys in a very balanced way step up.
Yeah, I mean, again, like for us, obviously we know obviously Sam is, kind of the head of the snake for us. And, we talked a lot about going into this game, specifically was last time we played them in the cup final, we kind of had a lead that we let go kind of slip, which again, they're a team that's going to make you pay when you make mistakes and go on runs. And Sam was kind of the guy that bailed us out at times. And we talked about in this week leading up to the game is he's not playing, right? So again, we got to be really sharp with our execution and everything we do. But again, credit to Leicester. They're always so well prepared and well coached, and they got a lot of good players on that side with a lot of championship pedigree. And we knew they weren't going to make it easy. So I think in order to be able to cap it off and win the way that we did, be able to kind of close it out down the stretch was fun.
No, you got a treble to go for next season.
Yeah, no pressure, right?
Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, what a terrific first season, rookie season in the BBL that it's been for Ryan Schmidt, Coach of the Year, of course, and more, I'm sure, to come from him in the future. Now, the vanquished Riders. Let's hear from their captain, Darien Nelson-Henry, his final game of his career. Sadly, not able to go out on a high. I mean, it was a game that got away from you guys early, and then you came back. I mean, was it just one of those nights where the ball wouldn't get in the basket at the time you needed it to?
Yeah, it was one of those games where some stuff doesn't fall our way. Just when you're making a run, it seems like they answered, and that's tough, especially in a final when you start building momentum and the other team kind of settles you down a little bit. But I'm really proud of the way the guys fought today, and honestly, I couldn't ask for a better group.
I mean, London, we thought we'd dominate this season, but you pushed them pretty close.
Yeah, we pushed them pretty close. That's what we do. We have experience with this roster, and we have a winning culture around the program, so we weren't going to settle for anything less. And unfortunately, we didn't walk away with any trophies, but we tried to stay on their heels. And it's tough when you're competing with people who have the resources like London. But we gave it the best fight we had, and I'm really just proud of the guys, honestly.
So last game for you? Definitely last game?
Definitely last game, unless you count men's league. I don't know.
Why no?
It's just one of those things where a lot of stars aligned for me. I finished a master's. I'm getting married this summer, and my body's not getting any younger. So with those things in mind, it just seemed like the right time to step away, and doesn't take anything away from the time I had with Riders or my love for the game. But it was just the right decision for me at this time.
What's next? What's the big job? What's the big career move?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have anything lined up yet. I'm still waiting to hear back on some stuff. But you'll see me around England. I'll hopefully be down in London if I can find a job. And yeah, I'll be around basketball. I'll be around Morningside. I'll be around the Copper Box. I'll be checking stuff out. So you'll see me. I'm hard to miss.
So farewell to Darien Nelson-Henry. What a fantastic BBL career he has had. So before we talk about the WBBL final, of course, some notes, maybe what's been happening around the arena today with the formal announcement news that we broke earlier in the week of changes to the format in both the BBL and the WBBL for next season. Of course, BBL moving to a best-of-3 format for the playoff quarter-finals and semi-finals. I think a move that most people will agree with. Changes to the format, of course, no BBL Cup next year. It will just be the trophy. That to be played in a block over 4 weeks in January, with the final of that at Arena Birmingham, effectively replacing the BBL Cup final for that one. And in March time, the return of the All-Star game. My understanding is that will be played at the Copper Box. Likely, certainly a London venue is the target for the league. As for the WBBL, very similar for them. No more cup. Trophy moves to January. They've yet to quite finalise the format for the trophy and for the league as well. Some uncertainty over the number of teams that will be competing. The league's chairman, Jim Saker, told me. So watch that space over the weeks ahead. No new teams coming in, but certainly a possibility that a couple may be subtracted from the league before the season begins. And around the course, the event this week, speaking to some people this weekend, buoyancy about GB. Chris Grant, the British Basketball Federation chair, went to visit Downing Street the other day with Aaron Radin from the BBL. Both of them telling me very constructive discussions with Downing Street officials. They didn't get to meet Rishi Sunak, but were able to put the case for more help, more investment, and just more thinking about basketball, both as a means to get kids active, but also to develop the sport at the professional level as well. So again, watch that space over the months ahead. Now, let's have a look at the WBBL playoff final. It was, it's fair to say, not the most attractive game of basketball that you've ever seen. It was a grind between London and the Leicester Riders. In the end, it was the Lions who came out on top. Defence really the key to that game for London, as they won the domestic quadruple for the second successive year, beating the Riders 57-41. And it was a game that I think it was one you had to grind. It was a grind. It was Taylor Murray scoring 10 points with an MVP effort in that game. Certainly a great game for Ty, and very buoyant afterwards. Let's get the thoughts first of the defeated coach of the Riders, Krumesh Patel.
I think so. There's easy answer saying no, and because they've got loads of this and loads of that, but we've shown it a couple of times that we can push them close. Caledonia pushed them close and beat them 1-off. The reality is, I think some of the teams just need to upgrade a little bit more, have a little bit more personnel, and with a good game plan, you could catch them. But they're going to do the same as well. So if they decide to level up as well, that means we're chasing a little bit more. But I think overall, it's important that other teams try to catch them. If other teams try to catch them, then the level of the league becomes way better. Because if we're being honest, the bottom end of the league is not fun to play against. The top end is where everybody wants to be at. So if that's the case, we have to keep trying to chase them. And within our own organisations, we have to do better to, try to catch them. I think there is a chance, but you need a big buy-in from everyone. If not, the disparity will get bigger and bigger and bigger, because the teams that do chase them will get better. The teams that don't will get further and further apart. So I think there is a chance. Basketball keeps growing, and there's a lot of you in this room are great. You guys keep pushing basketball further and further and making it more. Like when I first started, 10 years ago, I think maybe one person in this room, maybe two. Sam's been around it for a while, but there's more and more. There's more creative content. The WBBL, BBL, if I'm being honest, from Birmingham to now, I've even improved in the tournaments and stuff. So I think if it keeps growing, but we need someone to tag the commercial side onto that to support it, especially on the women's side as well as the men's side. But I think it takes a collective effort to do it. But it'd be nice if teams took the route of let's try go with them rather than complaining what they've got and what other teams have got. It happens in football, but the lower teams that keep pushing and pushing, and who knows what can happen. Let's see, won the league 1 year. Who knows, we could be the next. Let's see. But no, I think there's a chance it can catch up, but we just need the right people to keep pushing the right motives and collectively working together, I think.
Do you feel like, just in saying that the league might be better losing a couple of those teams at the bottom to kind of force the standard up a little bit in the middle?
If your honest opinion, yes. We need to be playing in better environments all the time. We were fortunate. I think every big match possible that a team put on, we seem to be involved in. You know, we were there in Newcastle, we were there at Essex, we played at the Arena, and they were great games. You know, you don't want to go to a school and play. You don't. You know, you don't want to go to an organisation where there's something else before. You don't want to go where they don't provide food. Like all the little things. If you commercialise the league to be better, little things like coaches have shown changing rooms, all that stuff means players want to play. I've spoken to players outside of this country, and the biggest thing is they want to know how professional it is. And if the league is deemed professional and constantly playing in these kind of situations, more better players and more better coaches will want to be around. But I think the reality is there are some teams that would need to be dropped because there aren't as many British players. People can say there is, but there isn't. So to reduce the teams and have more of the British players in less of the teams would level that situation up. And also it tells clubs that if you want to be part of this organisation, you have to do the bare minimum, which is this, this and this. And right now, I kind of would say we're too afraid to be like, you and you are not good enough, see you later. But I think we should, because that'll force other people to be like, okay, we have to be better and better and better.
There's some harsh words there, some very solid opinions on the future of the WBBL and what it might look like next year. Perhaps that idea of cutting some teams will, of course, be a reality. Now, on the other side of the ball, for the Lions, it was a special day, of course, for their captain, long-time GB stalwart, Olympian in 2012, but, as she confirmed after the game, the now retiring Azania Stewart, that was the final game of her career. She gets out as a winner. And I asked her just why now felt the time to go.
What brought me to that decision? I just think I'm struggling to see. I'm a perfectionist and I work hard and I put in 100%. And anytime you start to cheat the game or not put in 100%, you cheat it. And not that I felt that way, but I just felt like I can't do another grind of a season, a whole year. From August to May, people just see the finished product on the floor, but you don't realise how much work goes in on the practice day to day, waking up, grinding, keeping your body at the best level you can. And I just don't think I can do more years. And so I really am happy, and I decided it at the beginning of the season and kind of just had my, Kobe, Vince Carter farewell. Just when you decide at the beginning, and advice for people who are going to retire, when you start at the beginning and you decide, every moment is precious and you really enjoy it for what it is.
What was it like last time coming off the court?
Yeah, thank you for bringing me off the court. That was very sweet. Amazing. Very emotional. A lot of my friends and my family came today, and it was great. It's getting me teared up, but I just think in 10, 15 years, or even, next week, I can look back. This is on YouTube or online, and I can always remember this moment. So, a really lovely time for me.
Some commercials saying about the standard of the league, where it goes from here. He said that you felt that there was parts at the bottom of the leagues of teams that haven't got the setups like Atlanta, who would be better to drop them off to push the standard up. So, in his words, that end up playing in schools. I mean, do you feel this league goes that is possibly an option that will maybe have to be some subtraction to get the standard up?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But all we can do is keep pushing forward and being the example. With that example, then you can get sponsors and companies behind those teams. But I think it's important to have even local teams. Okay, it does drop off at the competition, and we've seen teams, Gloucester dropped off, and there might be a fair few this season. But I don't know, I think every league that you play in, there is that bottom. I played in Spain, I played in Hungary, and that top 4 to 6 is always, playing in Europe, and then the bottom 4 is not so good. So all you can do is just keep working and showing the way.
So that is the 2023 BBL and WBBL season in the books. London with a domestic treble in the WBBL, or domestic quadruple in the WBBL, treble in the BBL, and big ambitions for them for next season. They're certainly talking about the idea of going into EuroLeague women qualifiers in the summer. Stella, Kaltsidou, I asked what commitment there's been to having a budget in place for that come the autumn.
the club is really trying to make the best for the team in order to have what we need to step up as a professional club and get the best we can in order to achieve the goals, which is in short or in long term the participation in EuroLeague. So if club says that they guarantee this amount of budget, then it is like that.
So another one to watch in the weeks and months ahead. But that is it for this season from the MVP cast. We'll have plenty to come over the summer months. From me, Mark Woods, thanks as always for your company. If you want to check out anything on social media, you can find us on various guises at mvp247.com, or you can reach out to me on Twitter at Mark Bripple. If you want to get any of our previous podcasts, you can find them at our website, mvp247.com, or just search via your preferred podcast provider, or head on your smart device and do the necessary. But for me, thank you so much for your company. That has been quite a day at the O2. Off for a beer. Bye-bye.